Discuss the three main tenets of President Obama's new national defense strategy that he came down to unveil in the Pentagon briefing room on January 5th, 2012.
Yeah, and I might even just broaden the aperture a bit and share some of my own thoughts, because these are all there is a certain synergy to it. But I think first and foremost is we've got to maintain our pressure on those terrorist organizations which still exist, and we've done a great job really of interdicting, of disrupting, and defeating in some cases the terrorist organizations that had organized against not only us but many of our close allies. So we got to keep that pressure on. I'm going to mention in a minute the shift to the Pacific, or the rebalancing to the Pacific. But we can't to use it is basketball season. You can't take your eye off that ball. If you take your eye off that ball, it will bounce back on you. So that's kind of number one. Second thing, we really took it upon ourselves to learn the lessons of the last 10 years. And what I mean by that is not only what it takes to build coalitions, to engage populations, to deal with an information, really a world that is almost completely connected, where you're under the persistent stare of the media, for example, just as a small example. And so, what are the lessons of the last 10 years of war? Well, if we were having this conversation 10 years ago with one of my predecessors, let's say Hugh Shelton or something, and you'd have said that a real asymmetric advantage of the United States is ISR, predators. He'd say, what's a predator? Is that something that goes around eating people, or what is that? But the things we can now do with unmanned aerial platforms, robotics, artificial intelligence, game-changing. So that's one lesson. The second one, I think, would be the ability of special operating forces to shape the environment in ways that, again, 10 years ago were just an aspiration. And the third is cyber. 10 years ago, if you'd have said to me, what are you going to do about cyberspace, General? I'd have said, cyber what? I probably had heard of the internet, might have even had a laptop computer. How many of you have the iPhone 4S? Admit it. How many of you are going to stand in line to get the new iPad? Which, by the way, you'd probably be in line right now if you weren't sitting here talking. So, cyber, cyber is both our greatest asymmetric advantage today, and it's our greatest potential vulnerability. That's a fact. So that's kind of the third principle. And the fourth one was this shift or rebalancing to the Pacific. To account for the fact that that's the way the world's demographics, the world's economics, and the world's military power is shifting. So that's kind of the four things.
After the incredible success, I'm sorry.
Really important to mention. One of the things the president did not establish this as one of his tenets, but the service chiefs and I did, and that is a new fiscal reality. Because you can say that our job as military leaders is to simply establish our requirements and then make somebody else fill them. What we found is that was not a very helpful conversation in the context I mentioned previously, which is, if we believe what we said, that national power is the sum of military power, economic power, and diplomatic power, then we as the military can't consciously detract from the economic power of the United States. We have to contribute to the nation figuring that out. So we, the service chiefs, the joint chiefs, established as a principle of the new strategy that we were living in a new fiscal environment.